Helaena and Dreamfire's bond in House of the Dragon was overlooked, leading to a disappointing lack of connection between rider and dragon. The emotional response to Helena's death by Dreamfire highlights a missed opportunity to explore their strong bond in the show. By failing to emphasize Helena's relationship with Dreamfire, House of the Dragon may miss out on the full impact of her tragic death scene. Among the most devastating moments to come in House of the Dragon Season 3 has already been undermined by a shortcoming with Helaena Targaryen's story and her connection to her dragon, Dreamfire. If the title of the show doesn't hint as much, House of the Dragon dives deeper into the shared bonds between a dragon and its rider, some of whom aren't Targaryens. However, while Rhaenyra and Syrax, Daemon and Caraxes, and Aemond and Fagor have had their connections explored quite well, not all Targaryens and their dragons have received this treatment. In fact, whereas the other Targaryens often mention their dragons, it might be easy to forget that Helaena Targaryen rides Dreamfire, one of the largest and oldest dragons in the world. Helaena rode Dreamfire to Driftmark and back for Laena Valerian's funeral as a child, but she hasn't been seen interacting with her dragon and has hardly mentioned her in the time since. Considering an agonizing, emotionally charged dragon scene from George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood book is expected to be adapted in House of the Dragon Season 3, the show overlooking Helaena and Dreamfire's bond becomes more disappointing. Dreamfire and Helena's biggest HOTD Season 3 scene will be when she dies. After Alicent forbids Helaena from riding Dreamfire with Aemond in House of the Dragon Season 2 finale, it's unlikely that the show will ever see the Targaryen queen ride her dragon as an adult. Oddly, however, Fire and Blood revealed that Helaena enjoyed riding Dreamfire prior to the events of the Targaryen Civil War. House of the Dragon hasn't truly touched on Helena's bond with Dreamfire as a child or an adult, even though her status as a dragon dreamer suggests her connection to her dragon could manifest even stronger than other Targaryen dragon bonds. Sadly, rather than a scene of Helaena and Dreamfire taking to the skies for one last time, it's possible that the only big moment between the two characters in House of the Dragon Season 3 won't even feature them in the same room. Dreamfire is held in the Dragon Pits at King's Landing throughout the war, with Helaena being confined to her chambers in the Red Keep during the time that Rhaenyra holds the Iron Throne. Even if Helaena goes to visit Dreamfire at the Dragon Pit in House of the Dragon Season 3, it's apt to only be a brief reunion before tragedy strikes them both. The biggest scene between Dreamfire and her rider to come in House of the Dragon arrives when Helaena Targaryen dies by suicide. In Fire and Blood, Helaena takes her own life approximately 6 months after Rhaenyra takes King's Landing, as Alicent's daughter leaps from her window in Maegor's Holdfast and is fatally impaled by the spikes below. At the moment of Helena's death, Dreamfire senses her rider's fate, lets out a Dragon Pit-shaking roar, and becomes so restless and angry that she breaks 2 chains holding her down. To make matters worse, Dreamfire dies very shortly after Helaena in the Dance of the Dragons. In response to Helena's death, the people of King's Landing revolt and engage in the devastating storming of the Dragon Pit. The small folk enter the Dragon Pit and attack the 4 dragons being held there, killing all of them. While Dreamfire is able to briefly escape her chains and kill many of her attackers, she soon crashes into the dome above, causes it to fall down, and fatally crushes herself and numerous others in the Dragon Pit. Helaena and Dreamfire's death scene will repeat a tragic HOTD Season 1 Rhaenyra moment. In order to effectively portray Dreamfire's agonizing response to Helena's death, House of the Dragon Season 3 will likely repeat an editing trick that made a Season 1 Rhaenyra Targaryen scene all the more emotionally poignant. When Rhaenyra went into labor early and bore her stillborn daughter, Visenya, House of the Dragon Season 1 finale cut between shots of Rhaenyra and Syrax pained and yelling. As Rhaenyra screamed while giving birth to Visenya, Syrax was chained up in the pits at Dragonstone and still let out screeches that proved she could feel the pain and distress of her rider. House of the Dragon may reuse this technique for Helena's upcoming death. As the queen walks toward the window and falls, House of the Dragon will likely cut between shots of Helaena and Dreamfire, with the dragon presumably becoming more anxious with each second. While Dreamfire already experienced the death of her first rider when Queen Alysanne Targaryen died from illness, it presumably wasn't as excruciating of an experience as having to sense her second rider brutally taking her own life. For the most part, the dragons will die before their Targaryen riders in House of the Dragon, or the rider and dragon will die simultaneously. Syrax perishes after the chaos of King's Landing riots before Rhaenyra is killed by Aegon. Vermax is killed in the Battle of the Gullet moments before Jacaerys dies in the combat. Moondancer dies in battle with Sunfire while Bella and Aegon are only injured. Sunfire dies from his wounds before Aegon is poisoned. And Vhagar and Aemond, as well as Daemon and Caraxes, all die together in the battle above the God's Eye. House of the Dragon made a mistake by ignoring Dreamfire and Helena's bond. Since Dreamfire's response to Helena's death is seen as one of the biggest emotional responses to a dragon losing its rider in Fire and Blood, it's a shame that House of the Dragon didn't spend more time on their bond. Showing young Rhaenyra's love for Syrax and connection to her dragon helped emphasize the importance of their emotional connection during the season 1 finale's birth scene. But House of the Dragon hasn't put the same time into highlighting the strong bond between Helaena and Dreamfire. Helaena jumping into Daemon's vision in House of the Dragon Season 2 finale also begs the question of whether she has a skin-changing ability, which could have opened up an unexpected storyline to explore with Helaena and Dreamfire. Like Bran warging into summer, House of the Dragon could have used Helena's bond with Dreamfire to emphasize the strength of her powers and psychic connections with her family's bonded animal. However, it's a bit too late to begin this journey given Helena's death arrives soon in House of the Dragon's timeline. Consequently, the true toll of Helena's death on Dreamfire may not be as apparent or effective without that backstory. House of the Dragon suggests that Helaena hardly sees Dreamfire despite being just a short distance from the Dragon Pit, so it may feel a touch out of place to see such a strong reaction elicited from her dragon. Even if there's the possibility that she's been communicating with Dreamfire in other ways, failing to significantly address Helena's bond with her dragon may hurt the emotional payoff of her death scene in the show.